Cat's Corner. It's so nice to see you here again this morning. Good morning. Good morning. As you all know already, this is really a place where you could feel free to be yourself, share your thoughts, share any advice that you have related to the topics that come up. All of our topics are related to career development, and each session we try to bring you something, a unique new topic. So in this webinar we have Rosalia. You can just wave. We have Diana. I don't know if Valerie is logged on. I'm not sure.
Valerie has an A.
Okay. And then we have Nayo. And myself. Our special guest today is, as you know, Rodrigo Sergio. So he's going to talk to us about his journey in the field of visual communication. So just a little snapshot on Rodrigo, because he's going to really get into his journey. I'll just tell you very briefly. He's a renowned visual artist, an art director, and a set designer. And he has a gift to bring forth creativity and powerful images on behalf of a brand. So he's going to be talking to you a little bit about his experience, his journey in visual communication, specifically in the advertising industry, his challenges, his lessons learned, and he'll be open as open about it, so that everyone can learn whether you're interested in going into that journey, the field of visual communication, or you're simply transitioning. There's some lessons that could be applied to all. So without further ado, I'll let Rodrigo introduce himself, and he can get right into it.
Hi, everybody. Hope you guys doing all well. As Emily was explaining to you, I freelance as an art director, designer. Currently I'm represented by a production house locally in Montreal, but represented in the States, in Canada, and Germany. I had a crazy through my especially the last 5 years of career, had an amazing opportunity to work with very well-known local brands and international brands to develop mainly advertising campaigns. I'm from Montreal. I have worked, as any of you guys know, the cell phone companies Fizz or Cirque du Soleil or Kijiji, Loto-Québec, Desjardins, Les Joitiers, and others. And internationally, the last couple of years, I had a beautiful surprise to be working with Google, San Francisco, New York, and we created around a little more than 100 images for their new platform, Google Shopping, that is not yet available in Canada, but it is available in the States and Paris and France. And at the end of last year, I had also a beautiful opportunity to travel for my first time to Morocco to be part of Art Direct, a campaign for the biggest telecommunications company in Morocco called Maroc Telecom. It was a beautiful experience, and it was a beautiful way to close the 2019 year. But beyond all of that, that's where I am right now. That's where I am today professionally. But beyond all that, what I would like to share with you is much more than my specialty in visual communication. It's more how I got there, and as Emily also said, the challenges or the decisions that I took and how I passed through them. If you have any questions about actual visual communication, branding, graphic design, whatever you mention it, just say it. You can always ask me. That's not totally what I'm gonna be focused on. If you guys want me to pass through my portfolio I would like more to be at the end of what I would like to tell you. We can. It's super easy. We can navigate together super easy through the website. But I would like to tell you a little bit more about my personal story, because I think it's something it could be applied to absolutely anything, not only visual communication or not only my career, but I think as Emily said also, like about transition, because I felt that I went through an interesting transition in my life. So my journey really, like, I would say, really started in 2003 when my parents decided to move to Canada 17 years ago. And my family, and what expected from me was to go to medicine school because that's what I was aligning to do in Peru. Although all the fire that I had inside was always much more into music and art and doing things more spontaneously than planning in a great matter. I was growing up in a family where my dad was a Navy officer, and my brother and my sister went and decided to go. I'm the youngest one, so you guys can imagine. My brother and my sister decided to go much more white collar careers. My brother as administrator, doing a master's in international business and another master's in finance, and my sister being a lawyer. And I really, the only thing I wanted to do is play music, skateboard, and do graffiti. And my dad obviously was not very happy about that. But I was always intrigued by science too, by like how my body works and how we work, because I think like by understanding all those stuff and the essence of how we function, we're ahead of the game. We know what to do, right? So that always stayed in me, but I had a much bigger calling for expression, and in my case, what came to be visual communication. So I got here in Montreal in 2005. I had to go. I applied to go to college, and I decided to go to art school at Dawson College. And Dawson College, it was an incredible experience because I came at 17 years old. I was then already 18, almost 19, and I came with a pretty much a culture and a background very, very solid, right? Like to me, everything was new, and it was the best. I think was the best gift my parents gave me of bringing me here and landing in art school, because I met so many people from all around the world, so many different languages, so many different types of food and music. And to me, that was the best school I ever had, emotionally and inspirationally. And that brought me to start a band back then, and then to go into graphic design school at Penn School for 3 years, technical school, and then jump into graphic design at UCAM University. And I have to say that obviously, as any student in any, I think also a lot of art students, you become very confident about yourself because you're expressing yourself. You're giving yourself this right of really being able to say whatever you want, whenever you want, and you do it all, not hidden it. You're exposing all the time what you're saying. I thought it was a great idea to start, like, I always wanted to do my art aside and work. I kind of thought that I could divide part-time doing art and personal expression, part-time looking for a job that is stable and the pay to build, right? And it really, in my case, it never work. Really, really never work. And that made me actually to take certain steps and certain decisions and getting involved in certain experiences that I thought it was the right way. And I realized after later on that in fact I could have gone the other way. I decided to start working for not very well known companies or studios in Montreal by the large main design industry, you know, because in I think just at any career you have, just like they say, we have McGill as a university, in the university level. We have a bunch of different universities in Canada, but how many do you guys how many of those do you hear about? You know, you hear about the big ones, you hear about the renowned ones, right? And that's the circle in a way that I wanted to get into, but I started by that unknown one. So I had pretty much like 5 years of experience with all these agencies and companies. And really, what I was starting to realize that the only thing that I was getting from them is really much. I was just cashing out. I was just punching in, punching out, but I was not really intellectually challenged because they had a mono. They really need to produce stuff and not question much stuff. Well, suddenly I found myself not actually being happy, not feeling that I was waking up motivated to go to work and be like, okay, I'm gonna dedicate that first 8 hours of my day into this. So when I decided to make that switch, that first transition, I felt that I had nothing to, like, no equipment to get into these places because nobody knew me. And although I could have been talented or not, people give opportunity to people they know, or that somebody knows. It's all about connection in the end. Yes, it is important having a certain level of talent, but most of it is about your drive and your motivation. Talent is acquired. You learn it. Like Picasso was not born a painter. He was born a baby and learned with it because he was focusing it and because he fell in love with it. So I think that I found myself in 2005, after back then, 2015 actually, in a very weird limbo, which I felt that I was little almost becoming depressed because I feel like I had a lot to give and express, and no opportunity, not a channel, not a platform to show it, and I felt like everything was. I really was blaming or thinking that everything was against me, and that's when I realized suddenly I had a wake up call in a trip that I had, and I was lucky to have a little vacation with a group of friends, and within that group I was with 4 of my best friends that they come all from different countries. Doesn't have to do anything with it. But I realized that each one of them, like those 4 friends, were in a driven mode. In fact, each one of them was hustling, but really focused and things that they truly love and they truly believe that their energy was well applied. The 4 of them were not designers, not visual communicators, in business, restoration, tech. We were all very different. But I saw myself in that moment. Like, what am I actually doing with my life? Like, how come my closest friends are doing all this, and I'm just like feeling comfortable sitting down, doing what I'm supposed to be doing? And then when I kind of did a couple of steps back, and I said to myself, I asked myself, what is exactly what I'm doing? I'm right now, mainly what I'm doing is complaining about the non-opportunities, how everything is against me, how difficult it is for me, how and then I feel like there's a moment that I kind of hit rock bottom, where I told myself, okay, hold on, like this cannot be it. So I decided to change my mindset and start thinking there's always an opportunity, no matter what. There's always something that you can hold yourself onto, but you have to think. I told myself I have to be thinking one problem at a time, because my biggest problem was that I was saying, I'm here at the bottom. I'm at the bottom. I want to be here, but I want to be in the top, like from one day to another. And that's never gonna happen. Like that's never happens unless, like, I don't know, you're part of the Trump family, But otherwise, no. Like, you need to go one step at a time. So I told myself, okay, what are the resources that I have? Who are the people that I know? What is what I have to do? So in that right moment, I decided to quit everything I was doing. I quit my job. I quit. I decided.
Rodrigo, do you mind just saying what you were doing at the time and what you quit?
Oh, I was working at a fashion company, a local fashion company that distributed things in States and in Europe. And I was doing 3 jobs at the same time. I was doing graphic design, art direction, and photography. And honestly, like it paid well, but I was always looking. I was always trying to push like the company to question more their conceptual side of design and not just produce stuff that looks cool so it sells, but actually what I wanted to always was pushing to do is to create an experience. So when you're buying their product, you're not buying something that looks cool, but you're buying an idea. You're buying something that you can actually feel represented, that you feel identified with, right? Almost to feel proud that when I'm buying these, I'm proudly buying these. I'm not just buying, you know. But that's well, I'm not the owner of the company, so that's really hard to convince. When also they have in the marketing, they're making money. They're really making a lot of money. So in that moment, I was I felt like although, and I put myself all those jobs because I started as a graphic designer and I really went to my boss. I was like, listen, like we should be doing this type of shoot. So I created my position of art direction in that company, and then I was seeing that the photographers they were hire for like small catalogs were not strong enough or they didn't find it made no sense. So I was like, I need to be motivated. So I said, can I take the pictures? And I start taking the pictures. And I start putting a lot of weight on myself because I needed to one way or another one feel useful and don't feel like otherwise I could have sit down in that office and stay in Facebook for 6 hours and work 2 hours and I would have done the job because it was not that complicated. But then so I was then and then in a very comfortable position. A company paying for medication, paying for my insurance, paying for everything. But that wasn't enough. I think it's a very important thing to ask yourself purpose. What's your purpose? And when I asked myself what was my purpose, I wanted to create. I wanted to be part of. I wanted to be part of a room where I don't feel like I'm the smartest one in the room. I want to feel that I have always something to learn from every single person that's around me. And I'm not saying that I felt that I was the smarter one in the room in that room. It's just I had just nothing to learn with. Most probably they were very smart in other sections of that industry, but I was like I literally felt like just another species. You know, and that's okay too. Like and that's when I ask myself, what's my purpose? And that's why I invite everybody to do. It's very important to ask yourself, if your purpose is making money? That's cool. That's also very cool. Go on Google, go and write what are the most paid careers into 2020, even with the coronavirus. And if that's your drive, go for it and kill it at it. Make lots of money, you know. But if your purpose is, I don't know, like to be part of a bigger team, a creative team, to paint, to do photography, to do only pure mathematics, to code, whatever, I think that's when you have to say, okay, I need to stop what I'm doing and I need to start that. And I started doing that in 2015, and I had the chance that looking suddenly after complaining for way too long and putting myself in this little bubble and pointing at how everything is wrong around me and I'm fine, I realized that I was like, holy crap, I'm actually not being humble. I'm actually saying that I'm perfect, everything else not. And that's when I saw a little window that a friend of mine, I was lucky, and that's the thing. Like I find that we're in one way or another one, we're all lucky. If we're still here in this moment, we're lucky in one way or another one. And I saw that a friend of mine was starting an art direction studio for set design for advertising, very small, obviously. and he had experience for 6 years with like the best art directors and creative directors in Montreal. So I literally like sat down with him, and he's like, "Hey, dude, do you need any help?" And he's like, "Yeah, always, but sometimes I don't have the budget, and you don't have the experience." And I said, "I don't care." I said, "Give me the chance. If you have the patience to teach stuff to me, man, I'm gonna be like I'm gonna be that student that as if I don't know anything about visual communication. You tell me do this, I do it." And that's what I did. I reduced myself to zero, to I don't know nothing, and I'm here to learn. And I told myself, like, I saw and where he was, and he's a brilliant designer and art director. So I told myself, everything that he learned in 6 years, I'm gonna learn in 1 year. I told myself that I'm gonna be like that sponge of like almost no questions. I'm gonna learn everything that he did in 6 years in 1 year. I'm gonna see all the mistakes he's done, all the good decisions, and I'm gonna improve his decisions, and I'm never gonna make his mistakes. I'm gonna make my mistakes, but I'm never gonna repeat something that he's done. And literally, that's what I did. Like I told myself, first year, learning. Next year, practice, and then somehow I'm gonna be an art director, and I'm gonna be independent. And something that I did, that I did also when I took the decision of this transition, is that I decided to print a business card that said art director. Although in reality, I wasn't an art director, because I was learning. I'm not gonna put learning art director. I said like, screw it. I'm gonna say an art director because I have to become an art. I'm gonna force myself to become an art director. So in a year and a half later, I already, first of all, they realized that how fast I was learning, how effective I was, and how much I would respect. And also because of my graphic design background, I would always put in consideration, and I was always question why are we using that color, or why are we using that material? If that complements the brand, if that works with the vision and the mission of the company. And so I would always try to help whoever I was with to, before anything, before even the aesthetic of whatever we were doing, is the message going through? Are we actually saying what we need to say? And that, I think, kind of hooked to people that I was working with. And they start calling me until like suddenly I got finally a chance from a production house. And this is the thing, I say it's a chance because it is a chance, because actually what happens is when you're junior, they're not gonna call you unless the senior is not available. And that's what happened. There was a big advertising coming up for the hotel, like Queen Elizabeth Hotel, and all the art directors in Montreal, they're seniors, that they are like solid, were busy. So they turned into the next junior, the team that they had the attitude to do it. And they told me, hey, like, this is the project, like, for Marché Artisan, are you down for it? And I'm like, although I felt totally insecure about it, I was like, yeah, for sure, let's do it. And I think I did not put so many hours in my life into one project in that one. And most probably, like, if you would have money, and that's the part, like, money-wise, most probably I even paid for the project, like, because of the amount of hours that I did. But that really opened my door wide open into the industry, because I treated that project as if it was the last project in my life. And thanks to that project, starting in that production house, start calling me one project after the other one after the other one. And then what I did, and I think that is very important, is that I feel like the same emotional and the emotions, the same respect that I had for that project, I still bring it to my newest project, and I don't feel any better or any greater than my very first project. I feel I'm still that student that I was 5 years ago, I think that's extremely important because we're always like I am always learning from absolutely everybody that I work around, and I think that's the the biggest achievement to me. Working for Google is an honor. Working for Macau Telecom is an honor. Working for Fizz is awesome. Working for all these big brands is cool, but it doesn't compare to the value of learning. Of it doesn't compare to because to me it's a project. Like I don't invest my time in projects. I invest my time on the people that I work with and the people that I'm surrounded by. I really that's to me what we need to I say we what I'm focused in myself much more. Visual communication to me it learn it made me learn so much about myself and about the industry and about people because it's really about people. It's about all of you. It's about my parents and it's about the world. And that gave me a couple of interesting lessons in life that I would like to share with you. Is that, and I think that again it applies to everything because it also remind me to a couple of things that I growing up with growing up in general. One of the first lessons that I learned is that the most important one maybe is that we are magnetic field. We just like it's like we are what we eat kind of thing. We also are what we attract and what we keep talking about. If we're always complaining about something, nothing's gonna work. If we're always sorry about ourselves, we'll stay sorry about ourselves. The moment that we transmute that energy into positive energy, things start happening. For sure, not sitting down in your living room watching Netflix. For sure not. But if you start by that and then take one step at a time, it always works. Second, another lesson that I learned that is extremely important is to learn to communicate properly an idea. To communicate an idea the right way, even though you could be master in the subject, the first thing I must do is observe, listen, and act. Because every single person listens differently and speaks differently. And you cannot, and sometimes you need to recognize really who are you talking to? Who is your target audience? And I'm not telling you just business-wise. It could be family-wise, with friend-wise. It could be school-wise, like workmates, schoolmates, whatever. Like we all speak differently. We spoke different languages. So if you're, let's say, if you're a mathematician, you're Albert Einstein, and you're trying to explain a crazy equation to a 5-year-old, it's not gonna be. It's like you want to try to explain that. You're not gonna explain that mathematics the same way that you would explain to a 5-year-old than to another mathematician of your level. You have to explain the 5-year-old kid in the way that the 5-year-old kid understands, because it doesn't matter what you know, but how you express it. Because that's the way we share our stories, and that's how we share our talents, and that's what we leave opportunity to others to absorb that and then applying it the right way. Because otherwise, if you try to explain that 5-year-old that mathematical equation the same way that you do it to your peer, that kid's gonna think stupid. Like he's gonna think like he's useless. When all the way around, maybe that kid, if you would have explained it properly, he could have even been stronger than you, and when the time comes. And that's something that I learned even with my family. My dad used to give me and now older, I see it as the best advices I ever had. But when he was telling me when I was like 10 years old or 7 years old or 50, even 15 years old, he would talk to me as if I was in the Navy with him. So I'm like, what are you talking? Like, what are you talking about? Like, it's not. We're not speaking the same language. You're here and I'm here, and I have to learn. We have to feel here. We have to feel on the same level. That's the best way to learn, and that's to me the first and one of the most important lessons that I learned in visual communication is you need to know who you're talking to, and you need to learn what they're going through, so you speak their language. The second lesson that I find is extremely important is question my emotions. I find it very important to ask yourself, why am I feeling this? If I'm sad, why am I feeling sad? Or if I'm happy, why am I feeling happy? And really dig into that to be able to learn and adapt. You know, when I pass when I'm passing through a certain emotional conflict, there is a phrase from Bruce Lee that always comes to my head, that is, be water. Because what he's saying right there is, the best thing we can do as humans, as individuals, is to adapt. Just like water. Water, if you put it in a pot, it becomes the pot, you know? It always keeps its essence. Even it could be vapor, it could be ice, it's still its essence. You need to respect your essence. You need to respect your moral codes. You need to respect who you are, who you feel you are. But you cannot expect that the rest of the environment to adapt to you. You need to be the one. You need to be the proactive one. Another thing another lesson that I learned, and again, it's another quote by Eckhart Tolle, is like, all structures are unstable. And what does it mean to me? Well, that's what does it mean to him when he says that in his book, all structures are unstable. Like, it means that the impermanence of all forms and ideas. We're in constant evolution. Nothing stays rigid. Nothing is rigid in life, you know? And that's why we need to enjoy the present moment, make the best out of that. Not about the past, because the past is past done. In the future doesn't exist. So enjoy the present moment, and one more time, be humble. Because who you are right now, if you're the king in the world today, tomorrow you might not. You know, so if you're humble, you're respecting your essence. You're respecting who you actually are. Another thing, and one of a quote that is having following me for the last 10 years, is an Albert Einstein quote that says, "I have no special talent. I'm only passionately curious." And I truly believe in that. I truly believe that my talents have not brought me to where I am. It's actually my curiosity for the things that I like and that I love and that I treat. I follow my gut. That's what I try to do the most, because and that's something that is being what brings me to where I am today. Most of the time that in the transition of my career, and I don't feel, don't get me wrong, guys, I don't feel ungrateful about it. Most of the time that I want to take a big risk in my life, especially the loved ones in my life, were against it. And that's okay, because they are scared for me. They want to protect me. They don't want me to fail, because failure is not cool for some people. But I discovered that failure for me was the best thing that happened to me. You know, I find that it's important to follow your gut. It's important to explore. It's important to dig. It's important to stay curious, no matter what. No, even if everything else, even your dad, your mom, your brother, your sister, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, like everybody that you think they love you most, you have to also think, but hold on, just the same way that you question your emotions of how do I feel that, you have to ask, why do they feel like that? And most probably just for protection, just like a mom protects his kid not to go down the stairs for the first time. The kid needs to go downstairs or upstairs and follow a couple times to learn how to go downstairs to upstairs, you know? And those are the lessons that I have learned through my journey. I know that I've been all over the place. You guys can ask me if you, as I said in the beginning, if you're going to ask me about a certain thing about my portfolio, my visual communication career in the sense of visual communication. You can ask me, and yeah, that's.
Thank you so much for sharing your journey from the very start that you got here to Canada and how you faced those challenges.